Hey everyone, I'm Johnny and I'm back with another 5 ways video for Attack Magazine. This is the series where we show you 5 different ways to use a particular piece of gear. Today we'll be taking a look at the Massive EQ by Pulsar Audio and checking out some techniques for EQing a few different sound sources, from some more simple and straightforward applications right through to some more advanced and experimental use. So let's not mess about and just get straight into our first sound. So we'll start with some kick drum EQ. The kick drum we have here is okay, but it could do with a bit more weight in the bottom end and some of this top frequency dialing down. With the Massive EQ in its initialized state, I'm going to take band 1 and switch it from a low shelf to a bell filter. The Massive EQ is very subtle and musical in its application, so I found you can go quite extreme with the settings without destroying the sound source. With a narrow bandwidth, I'm going to boost around 8 dB at 60 Hz. Essentially, we're enhancing the kick drum's fundamental frequency here. To take out some of this top end, I'll use band 3 to roll down -7 dB at around 5K. And to tone down some of this boxiness, I'll also knock out a few dB at around 200 Hz using band 2. And now by turning on and off the power button, we can effectively A/B. The kick drum now has much more weight and sits much nicer in the mix with the rest of the drums. For our second sound, we'll take a look now at how we can use the Massive EQ to sweeten up the top end on the drum bus. We'll focus our attention to begin with on the high shelf to increase some presence on the hi-hats. We boost this by +10 dB, adding a nice amount of air to the drums. We then take band 3 up +7 dB at around 500 Hz, which will bring out the transient content a bit on the kick and snare clap combo. Rolling down band 2 a few dB at around 200 Hz will reduce some mud, and finally by changing band 1 to a bell filter with a generous boost adds a bit more weight to the kick and low frequency content. For our third approach, we'll take a look at some mid-side EQ using Massive. This can be achieved by switching the plugin into mid-side mode via the switch found towards the bottom. By doing this and navigating to the side section, we can increase the stereo image of this chord sound. With bands 2 and 3, we push up the frequencies between 400 Hz in the 1 to 2K region with a decent amount of gain increase. It's a great technique this for adding width to sounds without running into any phase issues, as here we're only processing the stereo signal. The mono or mid information remains unaffected. Okay, for this fourth sound, I'm going to start diving into some more extreme applications of this plugin to engage some of the tonal characteristics that Massive has to offer. Taking this bass sound, I'll start with a little low frequency boost and dip some of the higher mids. Now let's take a look at this drive control. Sweep this right up. I'll also switch the transformer mode to circuit 2. Both circuits 1 and 2 essentially enhance dynamic characteristics, adding more warmth and harmonics. As you can hear when I toggle the power switch, this is a nice technique for introducing a little aggression into a bass sound. So for this final EQ technique, I'm going to go completely off grid and try something very experimental. Taking this drum loop, I'll double it up, and on the second channel I'll add the Massive EQ. Applying a low pass to cut out some of the bass drum, I'll use band 3 as a notch filter, boosting the gain all the way. And again, engaging the drive to achieve a crunchy sound, and of course tweaking the gain level. With this high boost hitting the drive input of the plugin, if we automate the frequency control, we get this lovely tonal distortion, adding some dynamic movement to the drums. Now let's blend this back in with our original drum loop for some parallel processing, and like in the previous example, we've managed to bring a lot of energy and aggression via the Massive EQ. Okay, that's it for this 5 ways video using Massive. As always, thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed it, don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, if you're interested to learn more about Massive, we've also dropped a link below to the Pulsar Audio website where you can go and check it out in more detail.